Okay then, well hello and welcome to today's July 1 Cloud Movie Machine / Vidworkz user training webinar. A lot of things have been happening with Cloud Movie Machine Vidworkz, and basically this training that I'm doing for you here is going to be about how to use the technical side of things in the software. If you need to learn how to actually write sales videos and create sales videos, I certainly hope that you took advantage of Steve Dunn's Video Sales Mastery course, because he covers that in that course. And basically what I cover are the technical aspects. And so some of the videos that I make look a bit silly, and because they're really just me playing around with the features to show you how to use the features of the software. And I see a few people are asking me about the course, so I don't have that here, and I'm not here to sell that to you, but I will send the link by email, I guess is what I'll do. Okay, so a lot of people have been asking for the clip editor, and I did put that back in, and we're going to talk about that today. Now, I think what I have done for this webinar today is that I've just temporarily disabled everyone's login except my own, and I hope I've done that correctly so that things can work. Because I think what happened in the last webinar was that every time I did an action to demonstrate something, like 100 people did exactly the same thing following me, and it crashed the server. So it seems to me like things are working pretty well now, as long as we are not all doing the same thing at the same time. But I just want to make sure that we don't have that problem today. So it's basically, I have it all myself so that I can do things without showing errors. Now, that having been said, we are on GoToWebinar, and GoToWebinar is notorious for, if I may say, screwing up my software calls across the internet, but hopefully we won't have that kind of a problem today. And I also want to take let's just charge forward, and a lot of people have asked for the clip editor to be put back in, so I have done that, and there's a little bit of limitation that comes with that because thanks, Wendy. What happens is that so many people use the system, and then it gets clogged up. So I think, for example, on my last webinar when I was presenting this stuff, I was demonstrating things, and I think what was going on was that every time I went to demonstrate something, like a lot of people did it at the same time, and it was definitely a little bit of overload. And since that time, I have put hundreds of hours into rebuilding the infrastructure of Cloud Movie Machine so that everyone can use it without those kind of issues coming up. There will still be a glitch here and there, but it's not necessarily because the code of the system. Video is kind of a very huge arena, and there are a lot of different kinds of videos, and I want to talk to you about that today, because the most effective customer is an educated customer, and I'm not saying you're not educated, but a lot of people will really benefit from learning certain things about digital video engineering. So I'm going to cover some of that today, and some of that will help you in using the clip editor and other parts of the system. For the clip editor, what I really would like you to do, if you're going to use this, and I'm going to look at this now because so many people have asked for this. It's just one of our most popular features because it allows you to bring in your own external videos into the system. Now, just before I continue, I just want to make sure you guys are still hearing my voice okay, and I'm not just talking out into outer space. So if you just put a 1 or something in there, thanks. Awesome. I just got to keep my tabs on my technology, you know, so that we know everything's hunky-dory. So thank you very much. So let's check it out. Now things are going to look a little more old-fashioned on this system because it is Windows XP. My Windows 7 machine just pooped out on me when I was trying to start the webinar earlier, so that's why I jumped on my laptop here to try to get everything going. So this is a Windows XP machine, and I noticed that it's not carrying over some of the fonts and stuff, but it's showing Times New Roman instead of the Bootstrap font that the other machine shows, but that's fine, you know. Okay, so here we are at the clip editor. Now what I've done, and before I go on, I think I want to just take a moment and explain to you about video containers, okay, because this will help you. There are a lot of different kind of video containers. You know, you've got Move, AVI, WMV, MPEG, MPEG, which is often MPEG 2. MPG is like MPEG 1, which is a, and then you've got MPEG 2, which is what is generally used for DVDs. Then you've got .ts, which is really the pure stream that gets put onto a DVD. There are others too. I mean, it's sort of slipping my mind what others there are, but there is like FLV, right, for flash video. You've got, you know, well, there's tons. So, yeah, MP4. Well, that's the most important one to me is MP4. Okay, so I didn't put that right in there, but yeah, MP4 is, to me, it's the best one. So if you understand the difference between a JPEG and a PNG, if you work with graphics, you know, like a JPEG is a formula for converting complex data into compressed file. And it has a parameter of like how compressed do you want it. And the more compressed it is, the worse the picture looks. You know what I'm saying? So when you save as a JPEG, sometimes you have an option to make it a really high quality or a low quality. And that's basically filtering out the amount of data based on this formula. MPEG is the same way. MPG, MPEG 1, MPEG 2, as well as MP3, which is the audio layer of MPEG. They have the same formula. Now, for me, an MP4 is kind of like the PNG of videos because it's more or less lossless, where some of the other ones are lossy, right? So you have like a lossless format, which means that even though it gets compressed into a file, basically written in stone, you know, in that format, it still looks really good with a lot of definition. That's what MP4 has basically arrived at being the best format for that. Now, some of these other formats, like a move file is what you get at some point in the process, depending on how you're doing your videos. And there are usually huge, gigantic files. So you could actually take, you know, like a 1 gigabyte move file, and that's going to equal, you know, if you do it right, it could even be like a 40 megabytes on an MP4 and still look great, right? So that's what you have to deal with. Now, if you're coming to Cloud Movie Machine and you want to upload a 1 gigabyte move file, you're not going to be able to do that because we have the limit. So the idea is that you learn how to compress your videos, and there are some tools for that. The one that I use for that particular task is called MPEG Stream Clip. See if we can find that. download MPEG stream clip handle almost any video. So I don't have really the best link, but you can see all I have to do is search for MPEG stream clip, and that is a great program for reducing the file size. If you go over to the clip editor now, you'll see this button here that says Manage My Assets. If you click on that button, now you're going to go to see where your uploaded files are. This is where they end up. Now to add files, you're going to click this Add Files link, and you're going to end up on an upload page. From here, you can upload your files to Cloud Movie Machine. In order to protect all the customers, I have created this as an external server system, but you can't access it if you're not in the program. The thing is, though, it uploads your files to another server, so it doesn't interfere with other people using the web server. Same is true for the actual editing action, which we'll get to in a minute. But you can add your files and upload them, and that's really all you have to do. Once they're uploaded, they'll be listed here, and that means they are already into the system. You can also download a file by putting a URL in here and then clicking the button. But we do have this limit in place right now, which is 40 megabyte size, and I believe a 10-minute in length. Now I know that's pretty small. I'm going to start relaxing that as we go forward. I just don't want to have another situation where 2 or 3 users can bring down the whole system by putting in several gigabytes and just blow it for everyone. I can't allow that, so I don't mean to be a hard ass, but that's what we've done now. And if you get to know your way around the system, if you decide that you want to be able to upload larger files, so we're going to make an option available for that as well. Well, you can see the file size will be gradually raised to make sure that we can all participate in this and have a good time. So once you do have your video clips uploaded, then you're going to see them listed out here in this section. So what happens is your file gets uploaded to us and basically put into a queue, and our process goes through your file and make sure it's going to fit in the the limitations that we put. And if it doesn't, it's going to go ahead and convert it to a file that's going to work with our system. Now, if you've ever used Adobe Premiere Pro or any other software like that, you'll remember that when you import an external file, it's going to sit there and work on that file for a while and conform it to the dimensions or the system format so that you can work with it more easily. And that's exactly the same thing that our system now does. So if you were to upload, a huge move file and we didn't convert it, and we stuck that on your clip editor, and then you started trying to cut clips from that, you might be able to cut a clip, but it might not actually be editable into the video that you're trying to do because it could be a completely different format. Same goes with AVIs, which can be huge and gigantic and not need to be, because if you convert them down to a small MP4, you can usually get whatever you want into the system. You may even have to edit that to the time, but this system is really not set up to be editing, large files that are, hours in length. Everyone with me so far? If I may see those ones, it would help me a lot. Okay, great, thank you, Wendy. Anyone else? I'm going to give you a 0. No, okay, great. We got a lot of ones coming in. Great. So, like I said, yes, I put these limitations in place, for you to protect you and your use of this program. However, if you find that the limitation is too strict for you, talk to me and we'll try to work something out. We'll figure out how to get your files down to size, or we'll lift your limit or something. So now once we've got our files into our system like this, we can go to the clip editor and we can select those files here. And we're going to give the file kind of a little name here. This one was originally 009.mp4, and now we've added this string to the beginning of it for the system and converted it to an MP4. Kind of don't remember everything that I uploaded as a test, but we got a couple of things in here. So when you do cut the clip from the video, what you're going to get is the specific time that you choose for the start and for the end is going to be sent to our system as parameters, and the system will operate on the video that you've saved to your profile and put that in your timeline. I didn't remember what that was, but okay, so just more tests that I've done in videos. The thing is, I'd like you to understand that not all videos are going to work in your projects unless you pay attention to certain things. And what I'd like you to pay attention to, let me compress this a bit, is that this system I kind of had this written out on the other computer, but it crashed, so here we go. The system works in the following parameters. 16:9 aspect ratio. And if you're not familiar with that, that's the standard widescreen. Now the old-fashioned style is 4:3, and that's the same as the old TV sets, not the new one, but your original TV set, the original film ratio before they started doing widescreen films, which I think came in the 40s and 50s. But the 4:3 was the original standard. Now it's moved to 16:9. So rather than have a lot of confusion about what it's going to be, we just decided it's going to be 16:9, and the ultimate resolution you can get from Cloud Movie Machine / Vidworkz is 1280 by 720. That's also known as high def 720p. If you cue as a high def, that's what it's going to create. So one of the things that I want to show you today too is how you can actually use your finished videos as building blocks for new videos. And when if you're going to set up a strategy like that, you need to basically decide on the aspect ratio and the resolution, especially though the aspect ratio, because I think what we've got here is this is the case of a 4:3 video that's gotten stuck into 1280 or into 720p, if that makes sense to you. You see how it's kind of squished? You guys follow does that make sense? Because the original configuration of our system was 4:3 starting a year ago, and about 2 months ago I just said, look, we got to do everything high def, so I switched it over to 16:9. So now what I've done is I've imported a video that was actually 640 by 480, which is a 4:3 ratio. And because of the fact there's a difference between the 4:3 and the 16:9, it squished that video. You can see it, the photo is a little bit distorted. So that's something you're going to think about when bringing new videos into the system. If the video you're bringing in is already in 16:9, then you're not going to have that squish. This one was already in 16:9, so you can see it's not distorted at all. And you can just, as you select your incoming video. This one is in 4:3. So it wasn't distorted, but it was cropped, right? By the way, what you see in the clip editor is a very, very low quality version of the actual video. You're probably saying to yourself, wow, that looks like crap. And it does. There's a reason for that, because we don't want you to wait around on your browser while the video downloads, right? Because it would be 20 megabytes, 30 megabytes, 50 megabytes downloading into your browser. So what we did is, as you upload it, I'm going to show you this in the section. As you uploaded or download your video to us, we converted it to a preview as well. So you have the main large size, which what we do is we convert everything to 1280 by 720 so it will play nice with the other videos in the timeline. That doesn't guarantee it though, because video is very complicated, but the preview here is the smaller version, and that's what you see in the actual clip editor. It's just the smaller version so that it can load quickly, and then you can do what I'm going to show you now. Now this is from like the real older version of Vidworkz, where we were doing 4:3 videos inside of a 720p background. We don't really have that function anymore, but it is a 720p video. Now once you have it loaded, you can pull the sliders like this to say where you want it to start and end. And as you do that, it's going to actually move the video to that spot so you can see it. As well, it's going to load the time into these two fields right here. So you can see we have the start time set at 0 and the end time set at 40. If I pull this, then I can also see it's been moved to 7 seconds in and 40 seconds out. So I can basically put it where you can also play the video and then click to set the time as the video plays. Let's say you wanted it to start there. I let it go a little bit. Say I want it to go out there, I can click the set end time. And you can leave it playing or not. And actually, I'll make that a little bit bigger. And then you just click cut the timeline. And you can see down here it says the clip has been added to your timeline. And you go to the timeline, and indeed here is the clip right here. Now you may have, if you do this and the clip doesn't end up to being exactly what you expect, I don't want you to point the finger at Cloud Movie Machine, because you can have problems with these videos in any software. It could be Adobe Premiere Pro or anything. If the source video does not have the keyframes set correctly in the video, it is going to be impossible for any program to know exactly where to set that cut. So any video that to be edited must have proper keyframe information. And we do extract the keyframe information and we put it in with the file. Yes, this webinar will be put in the members area, Carl, assuming that the recording works and my computer doesn't crash. Okay, so what I've been doing here, the other thing that I've added in, and it's taken me quite a bit of work to sort of get this to the point where it's pretty reliable now, is the maintain original audio. That's also going to be dependent on what's in the streams that you're actually putting into the system. So if we can control the stream, then we know what's going on. But chances are your video will be correct, but there are corrupt files out there and things go awry. We have got to the point now where you can edit videos with audio quite reliably on the timeline. You can also add in clips from the clip generator if you want to put something in between the audio. For example, in this one, I cut something from my little training video that I made, and then I made a really sort of a fast, silent entry, and then I cut another bit from that, and then I put a silent clip in, and then I also put more sound in. So let's just see. In fact, let's regenerate that for now. Yeah, Renell, you know, as far, we don't really, I haven't put in a lot of limitations except for size right now, so, you know, if you can, you know, if you can upload it, and our system basically converts it, if it's the right size that our system will take, we will convert it to the right format, assuming it's close enough to the dimensions and everything, you know, and codecs and everything that we are working with in the program. That's right. I also intend to have the ability for you to just add from our stock clips and our motion backgrounds into the clip editor. I have not put that in yet, but it's going to go in there. And so that's what, so let me just go ahead and play this just for a moment. So you can hear how the audio kind of works with this real quick.
If it's not already selected, yeah. Third,
so this is what I did. Okay, what I did was I cut audio clips together, and then I put a voiceover on top of it. So if you check the audio here, I have this voiceover.
Yeah.
It was pretty silly, but I was just trying to show that you could do this.
Bring that picture in, buddy.
In fact, what I'll do is maybe, I'll bring the volume down a bit on it. Yeah, really don't need to, but. So what you're going to hear is the original audio, and then you'll also hear that kind of silly commenting on top of it that I added as an overlay. I really think the sky's the limit with this system once you learn all the tricks that you can do with it.
If it's not already selected, yeah. Third, select either an existing video
and it
project.
takes a second to fade in because that's how the algorithm goes.
There it is.
That's where I cut it.
Once you've selected a valid template or project, really, you're going to see that Publish Now button come up.
Sure. And then I cut in a silent clip.
Okay, content curation now.
And this is from before, so it doesn't exactly match, but it's because I added a new clip.
Then you're going to see the view/publish/preview window open.
So the point being that you can cut clips together with different audio, and they will play the audio in sequence. So what you could actually do is create, you know, more complex videos that already have audio and have your voiceover or whatever, and then you can queue them as high-def videos. And yes, it will cost you 1 credit, but once you have that video in your data console, you can add that finished video back to any project. And you might not have seen this yet, but I've added that right here, add video to project. If you want to see all of them, you select show all. Just give it a moment, because I have a lot of different accounts and different videos and stuff. So now when you select show all, you can actually move projects between accounts too if you want to. You can do this by, you can add the selected video to a project, and that includes the full audio. And you select your project here. You can also clone the selected project as a new project, because we save all your sources in a special zip file in our locked vault. And so if you want to clone as a new project, we just get the sources out, unzip them to a new directory, and you have all your sources again for a brand new project. In addition to that, we also have the ability to add those sources that I just mentioned to an existing project if you want to. You have to be kind of careful with that though, because it will overwrite the audio, the background MP3 and the voiceover MP3, because right now we only allow those two MP3s in the project plus whatever audio you already have in the clips that you've added. Now, so I hope that, I'm seeing a lot of comments here, so I'm going to deal with those, but I hope that, I'm not going too fast and things are kind of making sense to you, because this is definitely a whole new paradigm. It's where, I think, some percentage of people are kind of like not really wrapping their brain around this, because it is an entirely different thing. All your things are saved somewhere, in the cloud, not on your computer. So in order for us to get them and, put them in your timeline, work with them, cut them together, whatever, it's all done, in the cloud. Well, okay, let me address all these questions, because they're good questions. Generate preview does not equal rendered. Most everyone and everybody, let me get this right. Everybody has unlimited previews, okay? Everybody. You can preview as many times. That is basically the lifeblood of the system. Wendy's brain has already exploded. So yeah, you generate a preview. You can do that. All you have to do is add something or make a little change to the video, and then that regenerate preview button will pop up when you do the publish thing. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that right now. And then I'll go to the next question. We have good questions. Mod 36DC, that's a good question, and it has a little bit of a wrinkle to the answer about the two audio tracks, but let me just deal with this for a minute in terms of the preview. So you notice this orange button here that says regenerate preview. The system kind of keeps track of whether or not your preview is older than the last time you made a change to the software, to your project. So if you make a change to your project, then generally this thing will pop up. After you generate your preview, though, it's going to disappear. So if you want to regenerate the preview, and if for some reason that doesn't pop up, all you have to do is make a little change, like save the volume or something like this, and then it's going to be there again. I think I have most of it covered so that it's going to always be there when you make a change. But just in case, that's a little tip. Or you can change the order once and change it back, and that will do the same thing. Okay, so that was basically it about the preview. And so you get unlimited previews, because that's how you do it. You make a change and then you create the preview. And it is actually the same thing that's done on your desktop computer if you have a program such as Adobe Premiere Pro or something like that, and you go to play your preview after you've added some effects or clips or something, you'll see it stop for a minute and say, rendering preview. And that's exactly the same thing that Cloud Movie Machine / Vidworkz does. Okay, so I hope that's clear, Wendy, about the generating the preview. Now that leads to another good question from Bert, who asked, do the mini vids look good at YouTube? I think they do, but it depends how much of how uptight you are about what you want your videos to look and stuff. If you're really trying to do a high-end sales video, then they might not look that good. But I've also found that if you create a video that you like and you render it in 720p, in other words, the high def render, and then you bring it back into a project, then, believe it or not, the preview looks like even better when you do that. So you can then launch that as a mini vid. And it looks fantastic. It looks almost as good as the 1280 720p. I hope that makes sense to you guys. The thing about the video stuff is just a lot of stuff to kind of wrap your brain around, but if you understand these things, you can have a much more effective campaign or whatever. Okay, let's go to the next question. Can you adjust the volume on your music with the VO, with the voiceover? Yes, absolutely. Now what I don't have yet is the ability to adjust the volume in the clip itself, if that makes sense to you. So I think I demonstrated how you can actually have a pre-made video that has audio in it, and then you can overlay your own video on it here, or your own audio, your own sound in the audio section just by recording a voiceover or adding a background track or uploading a track. The way that we do this, and this goes to Mod 36DC's question, which is, do we only allow 2 audio tracks? Actually, if you learn your way around the system, you can do unlimited overdubbing. Okay, I mean, I've already made it possible for you to do that. But you have to kind of go around a couple of times. I'll tell you exactly how to do that. First of all, like I say, you can upload 2 files, or you can select a music and a voiceover track either from text to speech or by recording your own audio, which the first time you come here you're going to see this. I don't know why it's showing me this again, but you have to give permission for it to use your hardware if you want to record audio. It wants permission to use your microphone, probably because I just had to plug in that microphone when I did the big reboot thing. So what we have is these 2 slots for audio. Okay, one is called background and one is called voiceover. They're pre-wired so that you can automate putting something into the slot by either selecting a music track for the background or creating a voiceover which goes to the voiceover here, or recording a voiceover which goes to the voiceover. And you don't have to actually stick to that. There's a way to get around that. If you want to create your own MP3s, and I don't care if it's people talking, music, or animals barking, or whatever, but the only requirement is you name those 2 tracks, background.mp3 and voiceover.mp3. The system will accept them with those names and put them into these 2 slots, and then you can mix them with these volume controls and save the volume. In the future, I do intend to have a multi-audio track system so that where you can actually upload more than 2 and you can just sort of keep adding at one time. But what we do have now is that you can create a video that has audio and you can render that through our system, then you can bring that whole video back into a new project and overlay yet more audio on top of it, if that makes sense to you. That's already in place to do that. All you have to do is learn the system. I have not put in the control yet to control the video clips audio, like an audio track that is existent within a finished or cut clip that you put in your timeline. But that's coming. I didn't even have this audio before so many people asked for it, and that's kind of why this has gotten in here now. And it's just going to keep getting better because I keep having new ideas about how to implement it. So now here's another question. Can you download the project to a Dropbox folder? Right now we do not have that in place for you. In a way that would kind of involve exposing files that we don't have rights to expose and things like that. So really we only have the rights in a lot of these files to let you use them in your project. So why we don't give you downloads of the clips and the images and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the end of that group of, or here's a question. Okay, Tamina, if I create a clip in iMovie on a Mac, can you confirm that's the format that I should use to download the clips? Does iMovie generally put out MOV files or MP4 files? Do you know, Tamina? I need to spend a little time with iMovie. Renell is telling me that it exports MP4 files, and that's the exact format that we want. Okay? In which case you probably don't even need to use that program I mentioned earlier called MPEG Streamclip. The main purpose for MPEG Streamclip is to take huge, gigantic MOV files and boil them down to lossless MP4 files. And those you can import more easily. Now I don't want to overload you guys with too much information here because we can do this again, anytime. I do have more questions coming in, which is good. So let me take those. Mod 36DC, we never said anything about anybody can download a project. That was never part of this system at all. But you have full access to your videos. Okay, I hope that answers your question. If you don't know how to download your videos, and I do get this question a lot, so let me just show you that right now. You'll notice as you come to the data section, on your data line, you're going to see either the blue film icon. Let me just show all so you can see the other ones. You're either going to see the blue film icon or the green cloud icon. And the blue icon is there when it's not being shared at all, right? It didn't go to YouTube, it didn't go to Vimeo or Dailymotion or your second tier syndication. So it just exists as a video, and you can click on the blue icon to open up this video viewer, and you can see the video, and you'll notice here we have the full link to the video on our S3, and it's available for you to right click and copy link address, or you can also do it from this link, copy link address, or save link as, which is probably what you want to do. when you click Save Link As, it's going to open a dialog. And that dialog will now show you your computer, and it'll show you the MP4 of your video right here, and you just click Save, and that's going to save that video to your computer, and you can do whatever you want with it. The same is also true for the green cloud icon. You just click that, and it opens the same thing. It's got a video viewer, and it's got your link. I'll just turn that off for now. And you can right-click, save link as, or copy link address. You can also obtain the HTML5 embed code right here. Will give you more or less the same video player that you're looking at here without basically a bare bones format. Okay, so that's where you do that. And I get a lot of people asking me this, so hopefully that will help you. Bert has a good question. Can we download a vid after rendering before distribution, do some optimization work on it, and upload it back to the system and distribute it? That's a great idea. In fact, that's going to be a whole other product. And that's going to be a system whereby, you're going to be able to bring your videos into our distribution system and then get distribution for external videos. So once you download the vid and do stuff to it, it's not a Vidworkz or Cloud Movie Machine video anymore. It's your video, right? Okay, Isabel has a good question here. Would you please review legal aspect of use of videos created and downloads? Okay, this is my understanding, and we did put, you should probably read the terms of service sometime when you get a chance, because you have to agree to that to use the system, but it's not a big deal. I will say that, I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I spent a lot of time and money assembling the image sets that we have, and to the best of my ability, determining that those images are, free to use, to share, and to mark up without attribution. There is also fair use doctrine, which means that you can actually use anything as long as you change it enough, and it's not like enough, you don't use it enough to actually require any kind of legal action. And I believe that, a lot of that falls within this. And above and beyond that, I have the rights to allow you to use the clips that I offer in your projects. I do not have the right to give you those clips to put into, to do whatever you want with. And I do not have the right to sell you those clips. But we have the right for you to integrate those clips into your projects and add stuff to them. Okay, and the videos themselves, Isabel, as far as I'm concerned, once it's created and rendered, we expose those links to you, then it's up to you to take possession of that video, and you own it, right? I don't currently have deletion of videos, but that's because the system on the back end is quite complex. So once we create the video, what if you wanted to reclone the video, or what if we have records of sharing that video? The video is already on YouTube, and then you want to delete it, and it's just not what we do right now. So, if you don't want the video to go out there, definitely turn off the auto distribute, or don't select it when you queue it, and then it won't go out to YouTube and so on and so forth. And from there on, it's more or less private. Nobody knows where that video is except me. Ha ha ha. I'm just kidding. But no, nobody knows where those videos are except you and me, right? So, and it's there. But once it is rendered and it's available on your timeline through that link, you should do the responsible thing and download it. And then you own it. You're the owner of it, right? I hope that is a good answer for you. Renell asked me, can you embed this on your website, or will you need to upload it on YouTube first? Oh, you can embed it with this HTML5 code. You'll see here that this code down here, it's similar to the YouTube embed code, but it's actually it's the new standard. I'm trying to move this up here, and then I'm going to paste this down here. This is an example of the embed code that we have for you in the the link that we give you. And this is pretty small. This is actually probably not even the right dimensions. So you could change the dimensions, right, once you get this. You can see this video was a 1280 by 720, so you might want to change it to 630 by 360 or something. Or if you want it smaller, it could be 360 by 202. If you want it a little larger than that, you could do, I think it's 480 by 270. Those are all 16 by 9 aspect ratios. I'm trying to get this thing up here. Okay. Those are all 16 by 9 aspect ratios that you can put on your page. This is called HTML5, and HTML5 is so cool, and we are definitely moving it, to HTML5 is what we're doing. The question is, the answer is no, you cannot put an external video for distribution, but that is a very popular request. It's kind of similar to what I had previously in my product that was called VVC Syndicator, and we've integrated the same technology, into this system, but we don't allow the external distribution yet. That is going to be another product that we'll be offering. That does require bandwidth too, but it's a very popular request. So I hope that answers your question. Carl asked me, how would I share a video on Facebook? My suggestion to you, Carl, would be to set up your account on Cloud Movie Machine or Vidworkz, whichever one that you use. They're both the same. Set up your account on Cloud Movie Machine so that you have the API to YouTube working very well. Once you have that API going to YouTube, okay, let me show you an example if you haven't done this yet. You'll notice that I have some of these have been shared on YouTube. So that's why these are like perfect for Facebook now. So all I have to do is come up here and right click on this, copy link address, and now I'm going to go to Facebook, and you're going to see me. I'm going to do this right in front of you so you can see how cool it is. And let me go to Web Dimensions, Friends and Users. And I'm just going to paste that link in just like that and just post it. Oh, come on, Facebook. Well, that didn't work. Is that Facebook's fault or my fault? Okay. Well, usually they give you a nice player for that, so I'm going to try that again. Maybe that video isn't really on YouTube. It should be. Let's make sure. Okay, so I've got it on YouTube. I'm going to try that again on Facebook. Normally it should get you that preview, so I don't really know what's going on with Facebook today. You could just keep trying till one of them works. Maybe add photo video. I don't know. They keep changing things. There you go. That time it worked. Now I don't know why the previous one did not work. But you can see from here, and perhaps it was that HTTPS 70 Daniels. It actually worked, guys. If you see it now, you can see the preview. And all I did was put in that link, right? You can see that, right? Okay, good. Carl, yeah, that was your question, so I wanted you to make sure that you could see this. So it's pretty easy. Now, the YouTube is really set up perfectly, and 70 Daniels had a good point, said that it was the HTTPS that made it fail. Now, I think that's pretty weird, but it seems to be the answer. Okay, so I'm not going to post this because it's kind of irrelevant, but that's how you get it on Facebook. That's absolutely the best way to do it. I'm not saying you couldn't do it another way. In fact, you can do it another way. Let me tell you what that is. You go to Add Photo Video, and you upload that video from your computer after you download it from the link, the way I showed you a minute ago. Okay? And in fact, Facebook would really love it if you did that. They are really trying to become the video kings here over at Facebook, so you can upload your video directly after you've downloaded it to your computer, and it will show up on Facebook really nicely. I'd love to demonstrate, but I don't want to take up your time and bandwidth with that, so I think you can probably figure that out. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other questions? Okay, guys. Well, it's already been an hour and 15 minutes, and if you count the mess up with my first computer. So I'm thinking the best thing for us would be now to shut down for today, but I don't want to say this is it by any means. I'm here to help you guys with this, and there are so many ways to use this. Admittedly, it's a different paradigm than anything you've ever seen. No one has ever done this before, folks. This is the very first. So you guys are on my ground floor. I want you to stick with me, even if I have to give you extra credits to stick with me, because you got into the ground floor. Okay, and you know, we're making it better all the time. And I really appreciate everyone's suggestions, everyone's comments, everyone's ideas for how to make it better. And when you find things that aren't quite working that well, you let me know and I fix it, and that's what I want. So I'm just so happy to have you guys here, and I really love all the comments that I'm seeing coming in for me here. So awesome, guys. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, thanks a lot. And I don't want to, take up more of your time tonight. It's been really great, and it's always great having you here. We're going to do this again soon. I will keep you posted of the next one. And with any luck, this recording will be successful, and we'll have it in the members area very soon. And my email address for support, guys, is support@instantcontentcurator.com. And I'll just write that here. You can reach me anytime. You can also use the system in the software, the intercom system, because I'm on that pretty much all day when I'm in the office, right? You can also reach out to me on Facebook. There you go. That's the address to reach me. Okay, guys? So thanks a lot again, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay? All right. Have a great, great night. And this is Hugh out. Bye.